Well, folks, just an update again as we approach the end of the week. I suppose the big news this week was the subcommittee meeting on Tuesday, and the fact that there was a failure to meet a consensus on there. The two main areas that there seemed to be an issue around was around the issue of caps and excluded homes. I did say there was a strong possibility of this, and I said, at the last time round, 16th. Um, it was obviously meant to be the 9th, but we knew that didn't work, and for reasons well documented, it didn't work, and thankfully it didn't at the numbers that were going in at. But we knew that the 16th was only going to happen if they were able to reach consensus this weekend. They didn't. I suppose the good news is that I'll always take no deal rather than a bad deal, and we did make that very clear to the minister. So thankfully, he didn't come back with a bad deal. We do need a deal, and we need it sooner rather than later. But at the sort of caps and the exclusions that they were working with, it just never was going to be something we could support. So as I said, caps and the excluded homes first of all. So they didn't seem an appetite at all to include our rental homes, and that's simply not acceptable to us. These rented families have nowhere else to go. The landlord can't apply on their behalf as a landlord, and the tenants can't apply as tenants. So where do they go? So just not acceptable, and that's a red line for us. The holiday homes, don't even seem to be one to talk about them or mention them. So, but there needs to be a pathway for these people as well to get their homes, remedied too. So we did a suggestion before around including them as part of the rental for those that wanted to do that and help ease the housing crisis we're going to have when these displaced families have nowhere to go. But that may not be for everybody, but for those that wanted to do it, at least that was a pathway, and then we need to see what's left for anybody else. So that was the excluded homes. Certainly they didn't reach any agreement on Tuesday night on that one. And the other one is the caps. So I want to spend a wee bit of time on the caps because there's detail in there that I think a lot of people are missing. There's effectively two caps. There's the overall cap, and that's the one that everybody's talking about. It was meant to be 350 at a time. That was leaked out. Then it was going to be 400, as he mentioned at the time there again, and mentioned recently. 450, I believe, is where the minister is targeting, because he knows that that then leaves us with the percentage homeowners left behind is no longer 40%, which is what you get at 350, but it's down into the teens at that stage at 450, and we would then have to look and see what extra we can do for them. But certainly that is wasn't agreed either. His 450 suggestion wasn't taken on board. So that's still something he has to contest there. But the other cap that's not been talked about and needs talked about is the square foot cap. So it just concerned me when one homeowner contacted me to say, listen, if you can get 400, take it. 400 will definitely allow me to get my house back up again. And I asked what size the house was. It was actually just under 2,000 square feet. There's no way in this world that person with less than 2,000 square feet is going to get 400,000 euro to replace their home. There's a square foot cap rate as well, okay, that's in there, and that's always a bone of contention, and we've worked that through the housing agency. We come up with numbers that we believed would work, and it was based on the SCSI numbers. That's the Society of Chartered Engineers Ireland. They're independent. They're used by the insurance industry. They're used by the government. They're used by other contracting companies as well for the purposes of getting figures arrived at. So we're not prepared to work with any less than them numbers. And it looked like on the Tuesday night, they were also trying to reduce them numbers. And the minister was not going to bend on that either. So I would welcome that. And I think, we've been sore on him, but credit where it's due. If he's holding out for the right thing and he's not being bullied by others into numbers that might sit better on their spreadsheets, rather than helping the homeowner, then I'll take the angle at the minute that we're on, which is stand firm on what we know we need to get our lives back in action again here and properly underway. Because even these SCSI figures, they don't take into account what a contractor might go to charge you, but at least it's deemed the true reasonable costs of replacement of your home. and that we'll accept nothing less than that. Then we have to go fight the rest of the battle then locally as to how we make sure contractors are working closer to them numbers than that. So that's where that's at. So as I say, caps, do not forget about the fact that there is a cap at a square foot rate that affects every homeowner, regardless of the size of home. And then you've got an overall cap which will affect only the larger homes. Okay, so let's not get confused out there. And I think the other part, and the reason this message needs to travel far and wide, is that people down the country are thinking again, like that local man, that even 2,000 square foot houses will get 400,000 of a grant. That's not the case, okay? And that's why we'll be seen as greedy up here, and how much do they want, type thing. These caps are only appropriate for homes that trigger them, and 2,000 square foot houses or 2,500 square foot houses will not trigger them. You'll be governed by a different cap, which is your square foot rate. Okay, and we're trying to make sure that is at least the SCSI number, which is the independently verified appropriate reasonable cost to do a home, depending on what part of the country you're in. All right, so just to clear that one up, hopefully. I suppose the other part then is just talking about where we are overall. We still need maximum pressure on here to get this over the line. The minister is fighting his fight now, and he's not getting the cooperation he'll need from some of the other ministers, never mind the department officials, the housing department officials that is, and even those in the Department of Expenditure and Department of Finance who are putting pressure on their ministers as well. So this is still a battle that's going on, but it's a battle that Darrell Breen cannot afford to lose. Simple as that, and we've made that abundantly clear now at this stage. Right, so whatever he needs to do, go make that happen. To help him, I suppose, in that, I did welcome the Joe McHugh statement this week. I think what it did do, it put it up to the government, and we have also got other TDs in this county in power and in Mayo in power that have been silent, even though they declared their support for us, and they're very quick to jump on platforms in Dublin and all the rest. Where are they? Why are they not speaking up and doing the same thing? We know that if we have got a handful of these guys that are prepared to do that, that effectively leaves the government in an untenable position, and there's nowhere for them to go. And the one thing we know that is in the DNA of any government is survival. They need to know that the cost of failure here and the price of failure here is real, and that's what happens when these guys speak up and say that they will vote down their own government if need be. So that's why it should be welcomed, regardless of your party politics. Forget about it. It has absolutely nothing to do with our situation. What we're looking for each of these guys to do is to stand up and be counted and say, I will put my people before my party if you push me hard enough. And that's what we're looking for. And the more that does that, the better chance we have of getting a deal that we all deserve over the line. All right. So that's just a wee quick update. If I've any other news for you, I'll let you know the story. But that's where we are at this point in time. Okay. Have a good weekend. Cheers. Bye.